Do you enjoy winning the game seemingly out of nowhere with a large explosion of damage? Then do I have the deck for you. Hello, I'm Constellation Gaming, and today on Decklist December, we'll be taking a look at Krakatuga Burn. The goal of this deck is to use a ridiculously strong water package to put your opponent in a position that Krakatuga can hit the board and win the game on the spot. To start off our Elestrals, we have our mandatory 3 copies of Aster Rabbit. By this point, everybody knows the rabbit, so I'm not going to bother explaining that. Next, we have 3 copies of Eddy, a 4/1 water Elestral that states when you cast this Eddy, you can change the position of an Elestral. When a player casts Rock in a Hard Place, you can special ascend this Eddy into Kuribus from hand or deck. Now, we're not playing a Kuribus in this deck, so we really don't care about the second portion of his ability. However, the first portion of his ability is very potent, and he also plays around every single counter rune in the game with the exception of Gorgon's Gaze. To keep along with that trend of playing around all the counter runes, we're playing 3 copies of Galaxy, a 2/5 water Elestral that states as long as Galaxy is enchanted, swap each water enchanted Elestral's attack and defense. Not only does Galaxy get around all the counter runes in the game, Galaxy also gets around Cryoblast, even though he is a technical 5/2 with his stat swap. Due to the stat swap rules, Cryoblast would make him into a 3/2. It's a very odd interaction, but just keep in mind that Cryoblast does not kill Galaxy. Next, in order to pair with our Galaxy, we're playing 2 copies of Mostation, a 1/6 water Elestral that states you can expend 1 in order to swap this Mostation's attack and defense until the end phase. This effect can also be activated when an opponent normal casts an Elestral. Now, pairing with our Galaxy, Mustation is a 6/1 beat stick that can attack turn after turn. Without our Galaxy, we can always utilize his effect to beat over necessary Elestrals, or we can use him as a very effective wall if need be. Next, in order to give us a little bit of healing if we need it, we have a single copy of Krakatuga, a 1/4 water Elestral that states when this Krakatuga receives 1 or more water spirits, you can return up to 2 water spirits from your underworld to your spirit deck. And to help us toolbox and get into any Elestral we might need that we've previously mentioned, we are playing 2 copies of Foamy, a 2/3 water Elestral that states when this Foamy is destroyed in battle, you can special cast an Elestral with enchantment cost 1 water from your deck in defense position. So Foamy can either go grab another Foamy and simply serve as a wall for a turn himself, or Foamy can go get any necessary Elestrals you might need to pop off, such as a Galaxy or an Eddy, in order to completely negate their battle phase by changing the position of the leftover Elestral. Next, we're playing 2 copies of our honorary water pup, Nekruff. Nekruff is a 5/1 fire Elestral that states when this Nekruff destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, that opponent must expend 1. While most often we're going to be misenchanting Nekruff to make sure that we can play around Tsunami, his ability can also be relevant in the fact that it can help us hit lethal thresholds with Krakatuga. And finally, to wrap up the Elestrals, we have the big turtle himself, 2 copies of Krakatuga, a 4/9 water and fire Elestral that states you can expend 2 to force an opponent to expend 3. When a player casts Eruption, you can target and destroy a card. Not only can his ability win the game single-handedly, but when paired with a Galaxy, this Krakatuga becomes a 9 attack menace.
Before we continue, I do want to remind everybody that I will be giving away a Reverse Stellar Exaltus at 100 subscribers. All you have to do to enter to win this beautiful card is like the video and subscribe to the channel, and you will be entered. Without further ado, let's get back to the video.
To start off the runes and to pair with our Krakatuga, we have 3 copies of Eruption. A 2-cost Fire Invoke rune that states an opponent must expend 3. If they control a Fire Celestial or Fire Enchanted Celestial, they must expend 1 instead. Typically, you want to save your eruptions until you are in a position to win the game, but paired with Krakatuga, eruption can easily be paired or be utilized as a piece of removal if necessary. Next, to ensure we have enough spirits to play multiple eruptions in a single turn, we're playing 3 copies of Ambrosia, a 1-cost Omni rune that states return up to 3 spirits from your underworld to your spirit deck. To deal with any problematic or large attackers, we have 2 copies of Cryoblast, a 1-cost Invoke rune that states target an Celestial that is not Frost Enchanted until the end phase, give it -2 defense, and when that Celestial has 0 defense, you must destroy it. Seeing as how most large attackers, such as Necrof, have a smaller defense line, Cryoblast is extremely potent in dealing with them. We're also playing 1 copy of Earthquake, a 2-cost Invoke rune that states target and destroy an Celestial. I mean, it's just straight up removal with no conditions whatsoever. Extremely strong. Earthquake was limited to 1 for a reason. And we're playing 1 copy of Resting on Your Laurels, a 1-cost Omni rune that states this Resting on Your Laurels can only be cast if an opponent has at least 2 or more enchanting spirits than you do. Target and destroy that opponent's Celestial with the least amount of enchanting spirits. A really strong comeback tool that does allow you to easily kill a removal or a Celestial for cheap. To finish off the main deck, we're playing your typical 12 counter runes with 3 copies of Gorgon's Gaze, 3 copies of PTA, 3 copies of Tsunami, and 3 copies of Shield of Achilles. Gorgon's is there to say no to anything an Celestial might even think about doing. Poison Tipped Arrow is extremely strong removal, and the -2 attack might come in handy at some times. Tsunami is there to blink an entire battle phase unless they're water enchanted, and Shield is there to bounce back any lethal threats that we might deem necessary. Moving on to the Spirit deck, we're playing 2 copies of Zaptor for our Astrabbits, we're playing 2 Tyratlis for our Earthquake, we're playing 2 Flare for our Cryoblast, 6 Vipyro for our Krakatuga ability, our Necrof, and our Eruptions, and we're playing 8 Leviathan because a majority of our deck is water. So that's the deck. What do you think of Krakatuga Burn? Would you play it? Comment down below and let me know. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, as I do put out content like this every single day. And peace.